Regarding the Latin vowels, what I've got here is Alan's Vox Latina, which is on Google Books. So if Google Books can display it, well, I can display it on YouTube because YouTube is owned by Google. Good logic, right? So here we have the basic vowel system of Latin may be set out in the form of a conventional vowel diagram. It is, however, most clearly illustrated by treating it as two separate but related subsystems of long and short vowels, respectively. As is commonly the case, the long vowel subsystem occupies a larger periphery of articulation than the short. In other words, the long vowels involve more kinds of movements of the mouth. The short vowels being, in general, more laxly articulated, and so less far removed than the corresponding long vowels from the neutral position of the speech organs. There appears to have been no great difference in quality, that's the sound, between the long and short ah sound, but in the case of the close and the mid vowels, the e and the u and the e and the o, the long appear to have been closer than the short. In other words, there's a slight closing of the mouth area when these are pronounced, and the two subsystems can be superimposed on one another as follows. Now, the sounds that give English speakers the most trouble are those of the long E and the long O sound. So here's what Alan says. The long E, that's the E, and the O, represent or present rather greater difficulty for received pronunciation speakers, that's people like me, since this dialect contains nothing really similar. The nearest are the sounds of bait and boat, but he says that these are very distinctly diphthongs. So bait is an A sound and boat is an O sound, and so this is not actually the sound of the Latin, because the Latin vowels are not diphthongs. More similar in quality to the Latin vowels are the pure vowels used for these same words in Scotland and Northumberland, but not in Yorkshire or Lancashire, where the vowel, although pure, is too open. However, another close comparison of quality would be in the vowels of the French ge and bo, and as I speak French, this is relatively simple. So we have the ge, e, and bo, o. So, for example, in the word adore, we have bo, o, adore, and it's simply a straightforward o sound. So the vowels are a, e, o, and then u. The u sound, as Alan says, let's go up a little bit and see, the long e and the u are to be pronounced rather as the vowels of feet, e, and fool, u. So a, e, o, u are the Latin long vowels. A, so a, e, i,